Welcome back to my channel. Today I unbox and review the new YotaMaster Y7000 Pro, a PCI Express 4.0 NVMe SSD just launched 3 months ago. This video is sponsored by YotaMaster, a name synonymous with high-performance storage aimed to individuals and businesses worldwide. Thank you YotaMaster for providing the 4TB sample. The Y7000 Pro features HMB and LCC caching for accelerated read and write speeds, reaching up to 7000 MB per second on read and 6000 MB per second on write. This SSD is perfect for fast boot times, game loading and demanding workloads. Stay tuned for my speed tests and benchmarks. We'll see if Y7000 Pro can truly deliver on its promises. Need space? The Y7000 Pro comes in a range of capacities from 512 GB to a whopping 4 TB. And with an advertised durability of 600 TB written per terabyte of capacity and a 5-year warranty, you're looking at an SSD that's built to last. The box comes sealed in a blister. In terms of size, it is a bit smaller than those of other manufacturers and heavier. The design consists of white and golden accents on a black background. The side of the box lets us know about the 5 years warranty. The back of the box is filled with text both in Chinese and English. However, we can glean a few key details. First, the drive uses 3D NAND flash, though the exact type isn't specified. Second, it's produced by Shenzhen Orico Technologies, a Chinese company. Inside the box we can find the user manual, an M.2 SSD screw and a plastic holder containing the SSD, as well as an optional heatsink with thermal pads. The heatsink is simple to install, and with a bit of attention to detail, the finished package can look better than my result. The Y7000 Pro 4 TB features a black PCB and has all the components placed on one side, which can be advantageous for compatibility and cooling. So let's discover the treasure beyond the front label. For sure, the controller is a Maxiotech one, probably the well-known MAP1602A, while the memory chips seems to be something new. A quick internet search of BWN08QF1B1JCAD takes us to this Reddit article, which says this memory, also used in a similar product, could be the YMTC's latest 242-layer QLC NAND. The label is made from very thin plastic, with metallic appearance but no active rolling heat dissipation. Overall, this SSD feels very thin and high quality. The testing of Y7000 Pro 4 TB will be performed as usual, first mounted on the motherboard's PCI Express 4.0 slot and afterwards on the PCI Express 3.0 slot, both M.2 slots being provided with heatsinks. In Windows, after initializing and formatting the drive, I open the Crystal Disk Info application to display the drive's basic properties like the firmware version, the transfer mode, the protocol version and the host reads and writes. Next, I will use the Maxio NVMe Flash ID tool to try to identify the NAND modules paired with this controller. After launch, the only thing to do is to type the drive number of the SSD having a Maxiotech controller. By pressing the space key, a text file will be generated and opened in Notepad, where you can see that this drive uses a 40 MB host memory buffer. And that's all we can find, as the access to the controller has been denied through firmware. In Crystal Disk Mark, in the peak performance test with 1 GB file, Y7000 Pro 4 TB places on the 3rd place, with sequential read speed as advertised. The read and write IOPS values are also very competitive and in line with the competing models. In the peak performance test with 8 GB file, it remains on the 3rd place, mainly due to its lowest random write speed. The write IOPS value follows the speed, being also the lowest, while the read value is still competitive for QLC NAND of this size. In the real-world performance test with 1 GB file, Y7000 Pro 4 TB maintains its position while showing better random speeds than the models above, speeds sustained by the IOPS values. In this test, Y7000 Pro 4 TB showing the highest read value from all. In the real-world performance test with 8 GB file, it holds the position, having again competitive speeds and the best read IOPS value from all. As SSD benchmark determines the sequential and random read and write performance of the SSD without using the operating system cache, rewarding the drive with better random speeds. In the test with 1GB file, Y7000 Pro 4TB places on the 4th position due to the lowest random write speed in the multi-threaded test. The 10GB file test is unforgiving with these DRAM-less drives. The Yota Master drive was able to maintain its position while having a hard time on the multi-threaded random writes test. The system drive performance tested with PassMark Mark 11 places Y7000 Pro 4TB on a decent 3rd position, below but close to its cousin having TLC NAND and lower capacity. As system drive on PCI Express 4.0 M.2 slot, Yota Master Y7000 Pro 4TB maintained pretty good temperatures for such capacity, both on idle at 39°C degrees and during Crystal Disk Mark testing, when it reached a maximum temperature of only 47°C degrees. In Crystal Disk Mark, in a peak performance test with 1GB file, Y7000 Pro 4TB places on the 5th place with the highest read speeds and the lowest random write speed. The IOPS value on random read is the highest from all, while the write IOPS value falls short. In the peak performance test with 8GB file, it remains on the 5th place, still showing the highest random read speed and the lowest random write speed from all. The IOPS measurement follows the trend with the highest read value and the lowest write value from all. The real-world performance test with 1GB file places Y7000 Pro 4TB in the middle of the chart with decent transfer speeds as well as decent IOPS values. In the real-world performance test with 8GB file, it steps down a bit while having decent transfer speeds as well as decent IOPS values. The AS SSD benchmark with 1GB file places Y7000 Pro 4TB in the middle of the chart, while having the best sequential speeds and the weakest random write speed. In the test with 10GB file, the Yota Master drive is able to maintain its position, showing again the best sequential read speed and the lowest random write speed. The system drive performance tested with PassMark Mark 11 places Y7000 Pro 4TB on the 5th position in the chart. As system drive on PCI Express 3.0 M.2 slot, Yota Master Y7000 Pro 4TB maintained real good temperatures for its capacity, both on idle at 39°C degrees and during Crystal Disk Mark testing when it reached a maximum temperature of only 45°C degrees. The FreeDMR storage benchmark evaluates performance by running gaming-related tasks and repeats them 3 times, this way managing to stress the drives enough to get a clearer differentiation in terms of gaming performance. The testing results on PCI Express 4.0 propelled the Y7000 Pro 4TB to the top position, with the highest score and an average bandwidth of 672 MB per second. While comparing only the results of write tests, the Yota Master drives come again the first, showing the best speeds from all drives. The Forspoken benchmark tests the load times of different game scenes, providing the individual results and average FPS at the end. I repeat the testing 3 times and pick the run with the best average. On PCI Express 4.0, the best average load time places Yota Master Y7000 Pro between Lexar NM710 and WD_BLACK SN750 SE, with an average FPS of 63. On PCI Express 3.0, the FreeDMR storage benchmark places Y7000 Pro 4TB on the 2nd place with an average bandwidth of 576 MB per second. While comparing only the results of write tests, the Yota Master drive still places the first due to the best record and save game speeds from all. The best average load time in Forspoken benchmark on PCI Express 3.0 places Yota Master Y7000 Pro between Lexar NM710 and Team Group MP44L with an average FPS of 63. Comparing a 4TB NVMe SSD to smaller 1TB and 2TB models can be misleading. Larger capacity drives often face performance limitations due to controller challenges. The specific implementation and firmware also play significant roles in determining overall speed. But after seeing all the results, one thing is clear: YMTC's QLC NAND is a game changer. It is durable and fast as TLC NAND, proving QLC's potential for the future. This being said, the only limiting factor is going to be the price asked for the different capacities and performance tiers. So I've looked for the Y7000 Pro and few other new DRAM-less models and found interesting prices. On Amazon US, the 4TB Yota Master Y7000 Pro at $270 has a single competitor, namely the Fiquot FX991, which seems to be an identical replica but $40 cheaper. The SN5000 costs $10 more but has lower maximum speeds, while an M790 costs $20 more and has higher endurance. However, at 2TB, the Yota Master Y7000 Pro leads with the best price of $108, followed by the slower SN5000, the sibling Fiquot FX991 and their cousin Lexar NM790. On Amazon Germany, the 4TB models are scarce, but at 2TB, the Yota Master Y7000 Pro leads once more with the best price of €120, followed by the sibling Fiquot FX991 and their cousins Team Group MP44 and Lexar NM790. The price asked now for the 4TB model seems a bit high, but at 2TB, Yota Master Y7000 Pro is the most accessible budget option, truly performing at PCI Express 4.0 speeds. If we add to this the lower operating temperature and the included heatsink and thermal pads, then we have in Yota Master Y7000 Pro a versatile drive to be used in desktops, laptops and the PlayStation 5. As for the tested sample, it's amazing how they managed to put 4TB of memory on one side of this tiny drive. I will use it for sure in my next white build. So, what do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. God help.